My generation is exposed to so much destruction of our environment, and we are begging leaders to make a decision that is best for the planet and all life who lives here, because that is not what is being done, and it needs to change if we want to ensure future generations that they will have a thriving planet to live on. Thank you.
14-year-old Genesis Butler, famed TEDx talker and Marvel hero kid, has a message for Governor Gavin Newsom of California and the California Department of Fish and Wildlife. Don't bulldoze the Ballona Wetlands.
When I heard about the proposal to bulldoze the Ballona Wetlands, I knew I had to come here today to speak up against this project that will destroy the largest remaining wetland in LA County. Not only are wetlands important for the animals who call this place home, but the wetlands play a very important role in climate change, and they work as a carbon sink, which means the soil and plants absorb carbon from the atmosphere, which is what we need if we are to survive the worst of climate change impacts.
We are here to defend Ballona Wetlands, raise awareness of what's going on out here, SoCal Gas, and the fake restoration to destroy this beautiful land. SoCal Gas needs to get out of Ballona Wetlands. And that it's a twofold thing. They want to do a fake restoration, and then they want to also try to keep Playa del Rey gas and oil field open. SoCal Gas is the main culprit. And you can see it right over there. Very large facility, and so underneath the Ballona are these SoCal Gas storage facilities that contain gas.
Why would we want to destroy a place like this? And the answer is almost always follow the money.
Follow the money. Beneath the surrounding wetlands is a massive methane gas storage facility. There are pipes and wells throughout this ecological reserve. This publicly regulated utility wants to upgrade its fossil fuel infrastructure that would enable them to continue their operations on the LA coast for decades to come. Instead of standing up for simple common sense and protecting the environment, this has become about defending and promoting the fossil fuel interests that seek to demolish the wetlands to fix the deteriorating SoCal gas wells and pipes that lie underneath it. And that is the truth. The last thing that we need when we are in a crisis of climate change is to build new fossil fuel infrastructures, especially at the massive expense of the species who live here and the local communities who want to protect it.
We have a very big lock and more signs. Tampering with natural gas pipelines, valves and fittings is a felony punishable by fine and imprisonment. The public thinks this is a restoration of the land when in fact Southern California Gas has storage facilities for fossil fuels underneath these 640 acres. In order for them to restore these storage facilities, they have to bulldoze the area. And what is going to happen is, unfortunately, all the wildlife is going to be destroyed. They're claiming it's going to take about 9 years, and in that time, the wildlife that lives here will be dead. They can't be put in cages. They can't be stored across the street. They will simply, their homeland will be bulldozed, and all of these animals are going to die.
And it is LA's last coastal wetlands. These animals have nowhere else to go. We're in the midst of the sixth mass extinction. And why would we destroy their home, chase them off, and spend 10 years and more than $200 million doing this? As people say, it makes no sense.
More than $12 million has already been spent over 12 years to plan a project that would basically destroy the habitat for all of these animals.
In addition, as coastal flooding becomes more common, wetlands help control flood risk in this area. The last thing we need to do is get rid of an area that helps fight climate change and prevents flooding.
Hi everyone, I'm here today with my 2-year-old daughter Aria, who's already fascinated by the wetlands and even hopped out of bed this morning when I said we were going to come here. She woke up wanting to come here, wanting to see the wetlands, and I want to make sure that she can still see these wetlands in 10 years. I don't want this place bulldozed. I do not want this place destroyed. The children do not want this place destroyed. The people who are trying to bulldoze the wetlands are trying to use our children as an excuse, and it's a lie, to cover up their true interests, which are greed. Please do not bulldoze the Ballona Wetlands so that my daughter and every other child will have a chance to see them and have a chance to learn from how wonderful they are and how beautiful of a resource this is for all of us.
We demand it. We're not asking, we demand that these wetlands be preserved. There are so many varieties of animals that live here, and so many of them are endangered right now. And there's only one thing worse than endangered. Do you know what that is? It's extinction. There is no turning back from extinction. And once you destroy their one and only home, that's it. They're gone forever. Forever. So we will not allow corporate greed to come out here and say that they're trying to have better access for the youth, for the inner city youth, because we know that as a lie. They can develop programs and things of that nature that help the youth come out here. They just want to get to the tanks. So they either need to change their ways or go somewhere else, because we are not going to let this happen. Preserve the wetlands!
It's absurd. It's being called a, quote, restoration. It is not a restoration. It is a destruction of habitat and a big construction project that would benefit the fossil fuel industry and that would benefit some big construction and engineering companies.
When you bulldoze the last remaining sliver of wetlands in Los Angeles, you bulldoze the white-tailed kite. You bulldoze the great blue heron. You bulldoze the burrowing owl. You bulldoze the snowy egret. You bulldoze the slender salamander. You bulldoze the grasshopper sparrow. You bulldoze the black-crowned black heron. And over 1,700 species, not to mention the gray foxes and the striped skunks, and so many others. These wetlands are their very survival. This is their food source. This is their only home. Protesters have taken to the streets. Social media is on fire, with lawsuits being filed and a growing swell of Californians who say no to this bulldozing.
I have a message for the California Department of Fish and Wildlife and Governor Newsom, who this department reports to.
Yeah!
Instead of overseeing this so-called restoration project, why don't you restore our hope that leaders will do the right thing to protect our environment? Why don't you restore our faith that there are still good people in this world who will do what is in the best interest of the planet and the animals? Yes, parks are great, but what kids like me really love are natural environments where we can explore the ecosystem and get a hands-on experience when learning about our ecosystems. We love being out in nature and seeing all the creatures living in their natural habitat, but what we don't need is another promise to give us access to land we can already access through the creeks and trails.
There is a website, defendballonawetlands.org. You can go there. They will tell you about all the upcoming hearings. There are 6 lawsuits against this planned destruction. Here's just one of the lawsuits. And you can see that there are many, many arguments against this. Essentially, the biggest argument is that 1,700 species, some endangered, some threatened, live in this 1 square mile approximately.
Thank you so much for being here. We have Sierra Club, we have everybody.
We are destroying our planet every time we tamper with it. Southern California Gas Company needs to get out of Ballona and leave Ballona Wetlands alone. 1,700 species families are at risk of dying.
When we lose wetlands, we no longer have a much needed natural source of fighting climate change, and at this point we need all the help we can get, especially since scientists just announced that large portions of the Amazon rainforest are now emitting more carbon than it stores due to burning down the rainforest for cattle ranching, mining, and oil extraction.
It's going to deprive people in urban areas who desperately need to get out into nature a chance to experience nature for a decade as climate change accelerates. And at the end of 10 years, who knows where climate change is going to be, Marcia?
The fossil fuel industry is getting desperate. They want to get every penny, every dime out of the ground into their executive perks that they give every year. And they just are hanging on by a thread, but they are hanging on. In California, the biggest dollars going toward lobbying of our governor and our state legislature comes from the oil and gas industry. And this project would allow SoCal Gas to put new fossil fuel infrastructure in. And we just can't have that. We need to be closing down this gas field.
Community gatherings to help stop this. Okay, that is what's going to stop it, especially if we show the governor that we don't want this and we won't vote him back in if he allows this to happen. It's not just the city council. We need to get the governor to sign off on this and leave Ballona alone. It's time for clean energy, 100% renewable, and to protect all species. That's human, birds, fish, snakes, birds, rabbits, everything. Insects. We need to protect the biodiversity. Everything here that lives in Ballona needs to be protected.
There are dozens of species on a list called the California Species List of Special Concern. Normally, the California Department of Fish and Wildlife is responsible for protecting those species, like this white-tailed pike. Yet, it's like the fox is guarding the hen house here. Somehow this agency has gotten involved with SoCal Gas and other private interests. So it's a mixed up boondoggle. That is what this is, and we need to stop it. But we need everybody to help stop it.
We invite SoCal Gas, fossil fuel industry, California Department of Fish and Wildlife officials on anytime. We would love to dialogue with them. Why is it not obvious that destroying LA's last coastal wetlands, home to 1,700 species, is not a good idea?
Well, it's a very big question. We would like to hear the governor answer.
Where is that petition going to go?
We will be delivering it directly to Governor Newsom, to his Secretary of Natural Resources, and to his Secretary of the EPA.
What can people do if they want to get involved?
Well, there are a couple of things. You mentioned defendballonawetlands.org. People can go there and sign up to get alerts. There are public hearings all the time that a number of agencies have where you can go and speak at general public comment and try to get a message to the governor through his various agencies. And you can sign this petition and ask 10 of your friends today